Hi everybody, this is my how to make a famous chocolate wafer cake. First, you buy these chocolate wafers at any grocery store. They're usually by the ice cream cone area. Then you're gonna need sugar because you're gonna make homemade whipped cream. There's the whipped cream, you're gonna need vanilla, and then I have a special platter I'm gonna use to make the cake, which will wind up looking like that when I'm done, and chocolate shavings on top. And I'm gonna also use a mixer to make the whipped cream first. Okay, right now I'm gonna go ahead and get the heavy whipped cream. I normally have a much smaller container. Mr. Horn has some large ones for his ice cream making. They have really small containers of this. I'm gonna pour right now 2 cups of heavy whipped cream because I'm making homemade whipped cream, not the kind of whipped cream that you get in your refrigerator that looks like this. It's not gonna be the ready whipped cream. You can't use that. You have to make real homemade whipped cream. So here is 2 cups of whipped cream. I'm going to go ahead and pour that into the mixer. And I already attached my attachment to mix. And after you get the whipped cream in, you're going to put in sugar and vanilla. Okay, now I have my sugar ready. I cleaned out my measuring cup and dried it out. And this is kind of hard because I'm filming this myself, but I'm going to put in a little bit of sugar, not too much. I actually added a little extra whipped cream. I went with about 2.5 cups because I know that Jacob loves that whipped cream. We'll have some extra. And looks like I probably poured too much sugar. I was thinking probably about 1/3 to a half cup of sugar, closer to 1/3. So I'm going to pour some of this back and I'll be right back. So I have about 1/3 of a cup of sugar now. I also am going to be putting in about a teaspoon or so of vanilla. Okay, I'm going and putting the sugar into the whipped cream, and then I'm going to get the vanilla. And I'm actually pretty good at just eyeballing what a teaspoon looks like, so I'm going to just kind of drizzle in just a little bit. I put a little extra in for flavor, and then I'm going to turn on the mixer. I've plugged it in. Oh, you can see Mrs. Horn does love cats. There's my little cat wall in the kitchen. And there's also a cat kind of sleeping right over there, as you can see. That's Victoria. And back to the mixer. So I am going to be turning the mixer on. It's going to be really loud, and I'm going to have to come right back. Just one sec. Before I turn the mixer on, I have to adjust the little handle over here. Right here, if I crank this, you can see as I crank it, it brings the bowl nice and up to the top, and it's nice and tightly secured. And if you use mixers or blenders, make sure you have your parents' help. I have the bowl secured in the 2 little sprocket areas, and I've put in the right tool. There's different mixer devices. This one is for making whipped cream. And over here, I adjust our little knob here over to a pretty high level. It's going to be a little loud. I'm also going to need a spatula, which I'll get right here. The spatula will help as the whipped cream mixes to keep it smoothly moving along the edges and mixing all the whipped cream and getting the edges well. So I'm going to turn the mixer on. A little higher. Oh, I wonder why it's not getting any higher than that. There we go. Whoa. Whoa, there we go. And Victoria does not like that. She's looking a little upset with that. All right, I will be back. As I whip the cream, I wait for it to get peaked. So everything is mixing away. This takes a few minutes. You'll know your whipped cream is ready when it has peaks, where it peaks up like it's fluffy. If you whip it too long, it will actually turn into butter. So whipped cream, when over whipped long enough, becomes butter. Of course, you would not want sugar in it. If you make butter, you would use salt. So it's whipping nicely. And as soon as it's ready, I'll show you. And then we're going to layer that whipped cream between the chocolate wafers and refrigerate it. And in about 3 hours, it becomes cake as the whipped cream absorbs into the chocolate wafer. And here's a little close-up of Victoria while we're waiting for the whipped cream. Hi, Victoria. We call her Vika. She has a white stomach, but otherwise she's all black. And here's Peanut taking a little nap. Hello, Peanut. He's just resting on the couch. And he's wondering what I'm doing, that's for sure. Oh, the life of a cat. This is Kazu. His head is all the way down in a blanket. He's our little black and white kind of little penguin kitty. And he's taking a little nap too. So the whipped cream is coming along. It's starting to get a little bit thicker. It's been a couple minutes now. I'm just waiting for it to thicken up a little bit more. You can see that it is ready now. It's nice and thick. You can see it's kind of peeking up. And I'm going to go ahead and take it out and get ready to make the cake. Here's our whipped cream. And now for this cake, you are going to spread whipped cream between each cookie. They're actually chocolate wafer cookies. You'll spread the whipped cream between each cookie. And then once you get a stack of them, you wind up lining up all your little cookies with whipped cream across like this, and then it becomes a cake. And when you cut the cake, you cut it on an angle so you see all the stripes of the cookies. And I'm gonna get started. You ready? Oh, boys and girls, so I'm stacking. So I layer each cookie, and you can see the whipped cream in between. And I go ahead and put on a little bit, that I spread it around the top a little bit there. And then right down here, I'm going to go ahead and stack it right here. I'm going to continue doing this all the way across the whole tray. And at the end, I cover the cake with whipped cream so it looks like frosting. Refrigerate for 3 hours or more, and it will be cake. Pause. And Mr. Horn is closing up on this, nice and close. I'm going to be putting whipped cream on each wafer. And I go into here, get the whipped cream. Maybe he can show all that wonderful whipped cream. You see how it's peaking, then you know it's ready. Then after I have whipped cream on top, I just kind of sandwich it like that. Looks like a little Oreo. And then I go layer by layer. And if Mr. Horn can point down here, you can see how much I have so far. I'm just going to go all the way to the end. Now I am ready to frost with the whipped cream. You can see all the layers going across like a little zebra, all the way across. And I'm going to use all this whipped cream. I'm going to cover the top, all the way around the top, both sides. And then I'm going to take a chocolate bar and make little chocolate shavings like that on top. See you soon. So I'm all done frosting it. I make sure that none of the chocolate wafer is showing. And if it's showing, you can see the chocolate wafer come through. Put a little bit more thick layer of whipped cream. So look at that. Now I'm going to take the chocolate bar that Mr. Horn uses when he makes his amazing chocolate chip cookies, which he's going to teach you tomorrow. He buys this at Trader Joe's. It's really affordable. It's a huge 17-ounce chocolate bar. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to use I'm using out of my drawer here. This is a vegetable peeler. People use it maybe to peel cucumbers or carrots. And I'm going to take this with the chocolate and put shavings on top. So I have a nice big chunk of the chocolate bar here. And Mr. Horn's going to take over and let you see how I use the vegetable peeler to make the shavings. So I have the little peeler, and I'm making sure that it's ready. Oh, it looks like there's a little something there, just checking from the last time I used it, maybe from celery or something. And I'm going to get ready to take it right to the chocolate, and you can see the little shavings coming off. I'm going to get right in here. Hopefully we can get some curly Q ones. And Mr. Horn is helping me with this part of it. And I'm going to do that all the way across the entire top. And then when I'm completely done, I'll show it to you. I will cover it with plastic wrap and refrigerate it. It must be in the refrigerator before you serve it and after you serve it, because whipped cream is perishable. All the chocolate shavings are on, and after you get them on top, you see it's a little bit messy around the sides and on the counter, so you're going to want to maybe clean that up a little with a paper towel before you put your saran wrap on. So here it is, covered with saran wrap. I also put a couple toothpicks, as you can see, just to hold the saran wrap up off of the cake so it won't stick. And now it's ready to be put in the refrigerator. And I just use little wooden toothpicks like this. And that just allows it to just kind of float above the cake and not stick to the whipped cream. All right, I'm going to put it in the fridge, and then in 3 hours, it'll be ready when we're ready after dinner. And I know Jacob and Mr. Horn are going to be pretty happy. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make the famous chocolate wafer cake. You can buy these anywhere, any grocery store, and usually where the pie crust or ice cream cones are located. And then the directions of how to make the cake are right on the bottom of the box. I don't know if you can see that. It says famous chocolate refrigerator roll. All right, thanks, boys and girls. Bye.